Alright, so today's theory is going to be a lot, but it's also going to be backed up heavily by some evidence that I think is very open-ended. This episode has major spoilers for FNAF Security Breach, so if you have not seen a full playthrough or have not played through the full game yet, feel free to click away now. Alright, so let's get into this. To start out, what is my theory? Well, I think that we finally have an answer to who Patient 46 may be. Before we get into that, please make sure that you're subscribed. Only 10% of my viewers that watch my videos are actually subscribed, so please make sure that you do subscribe. It's 100% free and only takes one click. So, back to theory. Who do I think Patient 46 is? I think this patient is none other than the character that we play as in the entire game. Gregory. In the CDs, we are told two people's stories through these therapy tapes, Patient 71 and Patient 46. Patient 71 we know is Vanessa. The other one, we don't know who that is. They never speak, we never get a name, nothing. However, we do get a few weird clues as to who it may be through the way the therapists speak. They talk very sweet and soft towards this patient, and they say weird things like, do you like sports? That chair doesn't fit you, as if it were a small child in a big chair.
That chair doesn't really fit you, does it? You don't want me to get in trouble, do you? I could be put in the corner for a timeout. Yeah, you think that's funny, huh?
Multiple times, the therapist will say things like, you don't understand that word, or you don't know what that means, as if it's a child who may not know big words.
You're something of a phenom. Do you know what that word means? I assume you know what a hacker is. When I read your account of what happened, it came across as more of an objective rather than a subjective narrative. You don't know what that means, do you? What I mean is that the way you told the story is more like you were reading something from a book than you were talking about your own past.
It just feels weird to me if they were talking to an adult because they're using such childlike treatment towards the patient. Another thing that we are told in these therapy tapes is that Patient 46 is often seen in the Pizzaplex and caught on the cameras all the time.
They report that they've caught you on camera, or at least it appears to be you.
We see multiple hideouts around the Pizzaplex as if someone were living there. Is it possible that the person living there is Gregory, and the reason that they are seen so much around the Pizzaplex is because he lives there? Another thing that we are told is that Patient 46 prefers the indoors and dark as opposed to outside and bright lights. This could be explained by the fact that Gregory is actually homeless, as we see in one of the endings, and going by that, it would make sense as to why he would prefer the inside. If he goes outside, there's like nothing for him to go to. There's no home for him to go to. We learn a lot about Patient 46's personality through the fact that they don't speak. They seem heartless and as if they don't really care about anything. When told that two of their past therapists were found dead, they didn't really seem to care at all.
Your previous counselor is no longer available. Does that bother you? No? You don't look surprised to see me sitting here instead of your last therapist.
Something we see when Gregory is deactivating the animatronics is that he doesn't really care when he's literally tearing these things apart. He pushes Chica into a trash compactor when it gets stuck. He splits Monty in half. He launches a whole race car at Roxy. Through all of it, he doesn't really show any remorse. At the start of the game, we see that Freddy is glitching out and he sees someone in the crowd that is a threat, and he malfunctions and passes out. For now, let's propose that the person in the crowd is Gregory because that just helps make this easier. We are told in the tapes that Patient 46 is a bit of a hacker and has been traced back to a system-wide malfunction that the IT department thinks that he caused.
Well, the techs are convinced that you've hacked into their system many times.
This would make sense as to why Gregory would be seen as a threat. He quite literally is a threat to the security of the Pizzaplex. It really makes you wonder why the name Security Breach was picked for the game, huh? All of that out of the way, let's get to the final tape. This tape is the longest and holds the most information. In this tape, we learn that Patient 46 actually lied about their entire past, and they actually had a great childhood. We also hear that the therapist thinks that Patient 46 is manipulating this person they are talking with. Who could this be? Vanny, Freddy? I mean, we do see Freddy and Gregory talk a lot, in fact. Gregory misleads Freddy on a lot of different things. Every time he decommissions an animatronic, he deflects the question of are they okay with something like they still move. Like, no, they're not okay. Monty is in half. You stole Roxy's eyes. If that's Gregory's definition of okay, I'm terrified to see his definition of broken. I really want to take this theory a step forward, but to do that, I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research and thinking before I make a part 2, because boy, do I have a lot to talk about with that one. In that part 2 of this theory, I think I might be able to take who Gregory might be even further and talk about why the sister location room is even in the Pizzaplex, who Vanny might be, and how this all ties back to the Afton family. But for now, I'm gonna leave you all with that, and we're gonna move on to the next theory. Alright, so theory 2 of this video, a bit of a stretch and a reach, but you know, hear me out. I think that Vanny is a human injected with the remnant of Elizabeth. Listen, before you start typing your paragraph, at least hear me out, okay? Okay? So the first thing is the thing that everybody's talking about, these similarities with green eyes and blonde hair. I don't think Scott has ever been the type of person to do coincidences. I don't think that's his thing, so that's point one. Another thing, they share a voice actress. Heather Masters voiced Baby in Sister Location, and then she comes back again to voice Vanessa. That could just be them reusing voice actors. They did it with Kellen Goff too. He came back and voiced Sun and Moon. But you know, when they've made this character look so similar to Elizabeth Afton and then given her the same voice actress as Baby, they had to have done that on purpose, right? Right? Not to mention, back to the CDs, we learned that Patient 71, who's Vanessa, has a father named Bill. If you don't know, Bill is a common nickname for William. Again, out of all the names, there's no way that is a coincidence. No way. Now this next point is complete speculation. I'm not sure where everyone is getting this, but I've seen everywhere that Vanessa's last name starts with an A. Like it has the last initial of A. Again, I don't know where everyone's getting that. I don't know how true it is, but you know, Vanessa, last name starts with an A. Afton, I'm just saying, okay? Again, Scott does not do coincidences. And then another thing that I feel like completely passed by everybody, but in the fourth closet book, it's the third book in the series of the Silver Eyes, the Twisted Ones, and then the fourth closet. There's a character named Carlton, and towards the end, he gets injected with Remnant by William Afton, and it never goes anywhere. It just happens, and then everyone just moves on. I mean, it's possible that it can happen, but we don't know what the effects of it are. We don't know, like, what it does. So, what if this is further explaining what that can do, you know? It's possible, I think. Again, I know this is a huge reach, and I'm doubting it, but I think it's an interesting idea that is, you know, cool to be brought up, because I would love to see more expansion on that idea. That one is just more of a, idea to bring up more than it is a theory, but, yeah. So let's go ahead and move on to the third and final theory that I have for this video. My final theory for this video is I may know what happened to Bonnie. We know from multiple voice lines and locations that Bonnie at one point was actually a part of the Pizzaplex. He has an entire location based off of him called Bonnie Bowl. Freddy says things like there isn't a rabbit here anymore, showing that at one point Bonnie was a member of the Pizzaplex. Now, on to my point. Where is Bonnie? I mean, he's just gone. Did he hurt a kid? Did they just get rid of him? Well, I think he might actually be in the game, just not how we think. I believe that Bonnie is the new body for Springtrap. And what I would say is the best ending, we see that Springtrap is still very much alive, and Henry's plan did not really work out how he wanted it to. However, Springtrap seems to be completely different now, and has glowing purple eyes along with the ability to possess Freddy just by holding his hand to a TV screen. For the sake of this theory, just go with me here. As you can see on his model, he has 2 ears, 2 arms, 1 foot, and the other foot is just endoskeleton. His head is mostly shaped around his skull and seems to fit smaller than the previous model. Now let's take a look at Scraptrap's model. He's missing an ear and an arm, and has both feet. Not to mention, instead of metal, his missing pieces seem to be replaced with bones. His fingers are all bone instead of metal. They are 2 very different models. I understand that it's a new company doing the work. I feel like they would keep it consistent if they wanted to. He has a new ear and a new arm. Where did that come from? I believe that Vanny is this reluctant follower and decommissioned Bonnie and used those parts to rebuild Springtrap's body. Now, is William in control of Springtrap? I would say no. I think it's actually Glitchtrap uploaded into this new body. Seeing how he seems to have a virus type ability now, it really doesn't fit what we've seen William do in the past. Remember, this is all a theory. I'm not claiming anything here to be 100% fact. I just like to bring up these ideas because they're cool. So that is the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I think I've given everyone something to think about, especially myself. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.